Good day, everyone, and welcome to another discussion under office systems and procedures. Now, we'll be talking about how to deal with difficult people and issues professionally. So, basically, sa isang opisina no, or isang office environment, you do not always have the choice of who should be employed, right? So, therefore, it will be likely that you do not have the great relationship with all staff. So just remember, things to remember in an office is to always be kind and be considerate to all staffs or colleagues, right? So hindi naman ibig sabihin nun na you have to befriend all of your colleagues. Just always make sure that you keep things professional, right? So in dealing with uh, personal issues, right? Sabi nila, don't take it personally. Sabi nila na lagi nating naririnig yung phrase na yan. No? Don't take it personally. So we have all heard that expression, but at the same time, in your career, things will be personal sometimes. So what are the guidelines when we deal with such a situation? All right. So first of all, is number one is to always be in control of your emotions. So always keep your voice and check your body language. We already talked before about body language na yung sinasabi mo at yung body language mo ay dapat tugma. So sabi dito, you should always control your emotions. Na remember that you are in an office. Hindi ka pwedeng magdabog or magtaas ng boses or doing gumawa ng isang bagay na hindi ayon sa isang kumpanya. Right? Secondly is to address the problem and not the person. Ito ang minsang problema sa ating bansa, no? In the Philippines, we take sometimes, no, yung mga criticisms very personal, right? And we take it to the person na nagsabi. And at that point, we're not addressing the problem itself, but we are basically looking for flaws ng isang tao para lang mabigyan ng problema. No? But then that should not be the point. Always, if there are conflicts, okay, try to resolve the problem and not to address the person, to take it personal, right? And of course, next there is to air your views in a calm manner. All right, so take a deep breath and count to 10 if you have to. All right, ito yung sometimes ginagawa when it comes to anger management. So kailangan mong huminga, okay? And kalmado. Hindi yung basta lang nag-outburst ng isang ng galit, all right? Or linalabas bigla ang galit. Right? Now, do not suck and spoil the office atmosphere if you do not get your way, right? Basically, accept the fact that other people's viewpoints may differ from yours and admit that if there are two different viewpoints, that both parties can be right. Yan. Yan nga, sabi natin na din natin nung nakaraang discussions na we are all different people and our views and opinions may differ from each other. So, mahirap na ipilit mo ang iyong idea tapos hindi naman tumutugma sa iyong mga katrabaho. Right? And always be honest at the same time, be as diplomatic as you can. The truth does not always have to hurt, right? So you can communicate with your side of the story without compromising the other person's sense of self-worth, right? Now, how do we deal with difficult people, right? Um, Medyo mahirap, right? Lalo na kung ikaw yung taong maprinsipyo talaga, right? And you always want to have it in your own way, right? But then, understanding your colleagues will assist you in building better relationships with them. Yan itong sinasabi natin nung nakaraan pa na you have to look at kung anong pinanggagalingan ng isang katrabaho or ano yung background niya, right? Intindihin yan. And we achieve this by having open, honest, and clear communication with them, right? So even if individual has needs that need to be satisfied, and with etiquette, we need to understand why people become difficult. Yan nga, kailangan intindihin bakit nga ba nagiging ganun ang isang tao, right? So the reason is clear, or if the reason is clear, okay, the basic needs we have are not being met. Okay? Focus on the issue, not the individual. Again, inuulit natin to. Okay? Kasi lalong tataas pa or lalong mag-escalate ang isang maliit na bagay kung hindi natin to in-address as soon as possible. Right? So, identify the need that has not been met and address the issues. Okay? Now, sabi dito, all humans have four basic needs. Right? And these are the following: the need to be understood and to be heard, the need to feel welcome and have a sense of belonging and inclusion, and the need to feel important and to be acknowledged when they do well, and the need for comfort and reassurance. Okay, yan yung apat. At isa-isahin natin yan as we go along. Right? So, the first one, sabi dito, the need to be understood and to be heard. Alam naman natin na may mga bagay na yung isang katrabaho, no? Sometimes hindi nila dinadaan ito verbally, but sometimes they do it in a non-verbal communication. Right? So we have to look at these things. Right. Let's take a look at this table. Right? So the need here is the need to be understood. Right? And what are the possible signals that a person would show? Right? So signaled by a person repeating it themselves, speaking slowly, okay, speaking loudly, okay, getting angry when they are not being understood, or bringing a friend or relative to help explain. So, ito yung mga indications na kailangan ng isang katrabaho natin ang pag-intindi. Na gusto nilang maintindihan natin sila. Right? So, minsan, they speak very slow, kunwari, para magets natin, or kailangan nilang taasan ang kanilang boses. Okay? And sometimes, yun, nagdadala sila ng mga kaibigan para ma-explain ang kanilang side. Right? So, how do we accommodate the need that they are longing for? So, sometimes we have to paraphrase. No? Paraphrasing back what is being said and checking that your understanding is correct. So, it's like more of in a guidance and counseling situation na you have to know kung anong sinasabi niya and kailangan mo rin intindihin. Right? Listen for feelings communicated as well as the content of the message. Very often, the real crux of the message is in what has been said rather than the extra words. So, yun ang kailangan nating tingnan din, no? And lastly, we have to empathize with the problems. Yeah, so we can use phrases like, you must be feeling really upset by this situation na medyo bumaba ang sahod natin dahil nga sa pandemya. Right? Naiintindihan ko yon at alam ko na ang hirap sa ating sitwasyon na ganito ang nangyayari. So, sort of like that phrases, no? Para lang alleviate yung pain or yung sa loobin ng isang tao. Right? Ang pangalawa dito is the need to feel welcome and have a sense of belonging and inclusion. So what's the need there is the need to feel welcome. Right? So this may be signaled by a person looking around before coming in and or coming in with friends or relatives. So it's also demonstrated by wearing the right clothes for the situation. Yeah. So alam natin kung ang isang tao ay baguhan pa lang, right? So, of course, they wanted to be welcomed properly. So, alam natin kung sa isang opisina sa isang opisina ay baguhan pa ang isang tao. So, they would really look around kung anong meron sa kapaligiran nila, right? So, how do we accommodate their need is to provide them a warm and friendly welcome. Alright? Para alam naman natin, para yung feeling naman nila is at least mabawasan yung anxiousness or yung anxiety na baka hindi ako tatanggapin dito sa bagong trabaho and all. Right? You also talk in a language everyone will understand. Yeah. I as for experience, I worked in Manila before, and dahil nga diverse ang Pilipinas, we are multilingual country. So may mga bagay na naging or may mga times na parang feel ko I'm out of place. Kasi nga sila nagsasalita ng sarili ng salita and ako wala akong kilala. So that's why it's very important that we talk in a language na alam natin lahat. Right? So also engage in a friendly conversation, specifically asking the person about themselves and acknowledging their contributions. Right? Pangatlo is the need to feel important and will be acknowledged when they do well. So, right? So the need to feel important. And it's often signaled by someone showing off, okay, or bragging about who they know. This need is also demonstrated by flashing money, a display of jewelry, and or extreme clothing. So ito yung minsan sa Pilipinas sinasabi natin ang OA naman. Masyadong mayabang, okay? But sometimes these simple gestures may indicate that they need to feel important. Siya ay gusto lang mag-show off, no? Ipakita ang meron sila, right? So how do we deal with this is to sometimes we use the person's name, okay? Tune into the individual's needs and show that you are aware that these needs by responding to the person's need to feel important, and of course we compliment them, okay? And the compliments, hindi yung pa-joke-joke lang na sa Pilipinas, no? Marami tayong, wow, ganda naman. But these compliments must be genuine and sincere. At pang-apat na need natin ay yung the need for comfort and reassurance. Right? So, I need to feel comfortable. Right? And this is expressed by colleagues being ill at ease, nervous, or unsure of themselves. Alright, so this need is also expressed when help, assistance, or directions are requested indirectly. So ito yung may aminin natin, ano? In a workplace, meron tayong mga kaibigan or friends who are really anxious sometimes na hindi nila alam ang kanilang gagawin. Right? So for them to feel comfortable, no? We accommodate their need by setting colleagues at ease, by being warm and inviting them and making small talk until they relax. Right? And of course, relieve anxiety by reassuring them that you will help them. So this is very important na you reassure your colleague na kaya mo yan. Right? If you cannot do it, I'll be there to help you. Okay? Hindi ka namin iiwanan. We are in this one together. Right? And of course, explain the service procedures carefully and calmly and checking for their understanding. Right? So, kalma lang. Huwag mong masyadong ibigay lahat ng impormasyon sa isang colleague na hindi pa kayang i-digest ang lahat-lahat. Alright? Now, with that being said, let's move on to the next one, and that would be dealing with ethical dilemmas. Yeah. Anyways, Ano ba ang ethics na yan? Pinagsasabi nating ethics. Alright, let's simply put ethics, okay, involves learning what is right or wrong, right? And of course, doing the right thing. No? So, ethical dilemmas can keep you up night or keep you up at night, worrying about what's the right thing to do. The problem with the ethical dilemmas is that there's never an easy answer to this question, right? So, you have to weigh your moral code of conduct with the consequences of or for the people involved. So, dilemma. Hindi mo alam kung anong uunahin at kung ano ang hindi mo gagawin. Right? So, you are weighing what is morally right and morally wrong. So, it's more of what is right or wrong. Now, how do we solve these ethical dilemmas? No, number one there is to consider your own motives and try to detach them from your decision. Right? So, basically, if your ethical dilemma is whether you to tell your friend's husband that she's cheating, kunwari example lang ito, your instinct might be to keep quiet rather than potentially lose your friendship. Okay? So, anong unahin mo doon? It's either you tell the husband na ang asawa niya ay nag-cheat pero kaibigan mo yung babae. So, ayaw mo din mawala yung pagkakaibigan. So, it's a dilemma na both parties will be compromised. Right? So, in this situation, it's better to take your own feelings out of the equation and focus on the consequences to the involved parties. So kung nagtuloy-tuloy ang relationship ng babae at kanyang kabit, what would be the consequences? Okay? Yung mga anak, kawawa and all. Right? So it's you take out your own feelings, no? Look at the brighter side. Okay? Excuse me. Next one there is consider your moral code of conduct. So, if you're pondering ethical issues, you must have a strong sense of right and wrong. Okay? Alam mo dapat. So, ask your conscience what the right thing to do is. So, see if that makes the dilemma easier to solve. No? The next one, excuse me, is to think about the consequences. What will happen if you come down on one side of the moral dilemma versus the other? Right? So, consider whether anyone will be hurt or will suffer unjustly. Also, consider any secondary parties involved. So, if a family living at a poverty level loses an income over one sloppy job, it might be worth it to suffer through a little more dust than you prefer. So, ito yung kung ang isang pamilya ay mahihirapan lang din dahil sa isang trabaho na hindi naayos, no? So, it's better na iisa na lang ang mag-suffer kaysa yung buong pamilya. Right? And next there is to act with frame of reference of ethical behavior in mind. So, what are these frame of reference na sinasabi natin? Number one there is the laws of the country. So, we will base these things up, no? Kasi every country have their own morality or ethics, no? Kung ano yung mga, kaya iba, kanya-kanya tayong laws. Right? So, we base our decisions depending on the laws of the country. Right? And of course, it includes as well our industry rules or yung ating organization or yung kabuuan ng industry sa Pilipinas and the like, no? Of course, organizational policies and procedures, kung ano ang dapat gagawin. Kasi isang organization, they have to have, no, policies and procedures when it comes to actions of different employees, no? And of course, this also includes our general principles and values, all right, and your own moral compass. Excuse me. Next now is the so tapos na tayo sa how to deal with difficult people and how to solve an ethical dilemma. Now, I included in our discussion today the etiquette in meetings. Right? So, basically, meetings are a necessary evil in a workplace and are costly. Right? So, even if they are held in your company boardroom. Kasi nga, if you are conducting a meeting, no? Bakit costly? Syempre, we have to prepare for food, the place kung saan held ang isang meeting and the like. So, it is therefore important that meetings are productive. So, we are meeting for a reason, okay? To achieve a goal, no? To have an improvement of the office and the like, right? So, managing a meeting professionally entails using the time effectively to interact with others about business matters and maintaining professional conduct at all times, right? So, how do we manage a meeting, all right? So, first one is what to consider when arranging a meeting. Number one there is what's the purpose of a meeting, and the meeting logistics, meeting agenda, and minute taking. So, isa-isahin natin ang anong mga to. So, the purpose of a meeting is to make sure that there is a purpose for the meeting and that the same result cannot be achieved with an email or phone call with that will save time and money for all parties concerned. So, if you decide that a physical meeting is the route to go, okay, plan your meeting well, and the better you plan, the more successful the outcome. So, kaya nga nagme-meeting to have a common goal na ma-achieve, to become to have a successful outcome in after the meeting. Next one there is the meeting logistics. When deciding on date, time and place, make a provision for attendees who have to travel long distances to attend. Okay? So, that's very important. Kasi nga, hindi naman instant. Lalo na ngayon, no? If you're trying to set a meeting, it has to be good, no? Allow for extra time in case a meeting overruns its planned duration. Okay, check what you will need for the meeting, the size of a venue, seating arrangements, printing of documents, refreshments, etc. And of course, make sure that the necessary arrangements are made timely. And remind those expected to attend by email the day before the meeting, or if not the day before, at least 3 days before the meeting. Okay? Para at least makapaghanda din naman ang mga dadalo. Now, a meeting agenda, okay, is of course the lists of topics to be discussed and allows a meeting delegates to prepare properly and ensures that meetings are kept on track. So, kailangan natin ang agenda kasi what if participants are not interested on the meeting agenda na i-present natin? So, the agenda is a working document, and in the invite, attendees should be invited to add any relevant topics if they have any idea of it. And of course, a finalized agenda should be sent out at least 3 days before the meeting. Okay? So, para mapaghandaan ang mga bagay-bagay. Alright? Next, or the last, is of course the minute taking. So, what's this? Excuse me. If people can't remember or agree on what actually occurred at a meeting, how can the group effectively accomplish its objectives? Mahirap, no? So minutes refer to formally written notes that capture the main points made and the decisions taken. So basically, ito ang gawain ng isang secretary sa isang grupo or in an office na if there's a meeting, they have to take down notes the important things na kailangan sa isang meeting. No? So they should be sent out no later than 2 days after the meeting. So it details action items, responsibilities, and timelines to ensure that the decisions taken at the meeting is carried through. Alright, so dapat sa meeting kung andyan yung dapat naka-assign kung sinong gagawa, sino kailan gagawin, ilalagay yung mga time frames and all para of course no para malinaw sa isang bawat employee ang mga bagay-bagay. Alright? Now, that's for meetings. And what about formal meetings? Okay? So, in formal meetings, alright, decisions are reached through motions. So, motions are proposals placed before the members of debate and voting. So, anong pag-uusapan natin dito? On arrival, during the meeting, at the end of the meeting, and duties and responsibilities of the chairperson. Now, so on the arrival part, so when arriving early at a formal meeting, we wait. We should wait, okay, to be told where to sit. And at a formal meeting, the chairperson usually sits in a prominent position, for example, at the head of the table or sila yung nasa harap, right? Of course, make sure you are aware of the rules and conventions your organization uses to govern formal meetings. And of course, if you arrive late at a meeting, apologize to the chairperson and quietly take your seat. And don't greet all your colleagues and interrupt the meeting. So, ito yung mga dapat pinagtutuunan ng pansin. No? Kasi minsan, when we attend formal meetings, minsan, kung sino pa yung late, sila pa yung papansin, no? So, sometimes nai-interrupt pa yung meeting. So, kakaway-kaway pa sa mga kasama, late na nga sila. Alright? And next one is, during the meeting, of course, do not fidget, tap your fingers, or look bored while someone is speaking. That's basically disappointing sometimes kung ganun ang mga audience, no? Sorry. And do not click your pen or pencil na inaano sa table. That's very distracting sa mga, lalo na sa mga speakers. And of course, those people who are listening as well. And make sure that your phone is switched off. Okay? Settings such as silent and vibrate may affect the sound system and disturb attendees. Okay? Ganyan bagay. But then, of course, if you have or you are waiting for a very important text message or a call, and of course, silent mo na lang. But then, basically, dapat naka-off ang phone when it comes to formal meetings. Do not use your laptop during a meeting to respond to emails or do anything else not related to the meeting. Okay, may mga ganitong tao din na makikita nyo soon, or maybe may nakita na kayong ganito. And of course, the most important here is to avoid interrupting another speaker. Okay? Now, meron pa. At a formal meeting, speak through the chairperson. That means indicating the chairperson that you want to speak. And do not hold private discussions with attendees during a meeting. Okay? Andun nga kayo para makinig, hindi makapag-chismisan. Right? Mga chismosa dyan. Alright? And do not leave a meeting unnecessarily. And if you have first asking, if you have to, okay? First, ask the chairperson to excuse you. Okay? And do not eat snacks, food, or during meeting. Okay? Basically, in a formal meeting, meron ang scheduled snacks or breaks para dyan. Okay? Next there. At the end of the meeting, the conveyor must ensure that the meeting room is tidied up and if participants have left, and it is acceptable for anyone at a meeting to extend a vote of thanks to anyone who made a special contribution to the meeting. Yes, okay? Lahat na ng bagay, lahat ng tao, kung sinong kasama, sinong nag-set up, sinong nag-prepare ng lahat-lahat, mga participants and all. So they should have, parang dapat may pasalamat din para sa kanila. Na a meeting is not successful without them. Alright? And let's take a look at the last part, the duties of the chairperson. So if you would be the chairperson in the future, you have to arrive a few minutes early and start the meeting on time. Okay? Alam naman natin sa Pilipinas, yes, we do have the so-called Filipino time, but then that's not an excuse. Okay? If you're the chairperson, hindi ikaw yung magpapaantay. Right? So, excuse me. Welcome everyone. Make the necessary introductions and declare the meeting open, of course. Confirm and follow the agenda of the meeting. Hindi yung na inuunahan mo yung isang speaker, bakit mo hinuli yung isa. So, ano pa yung topic na pinag-uusapan, dapat yun ang masunod. Alright? And of course, if there are things na wala man sa agenda, and that would be included on the other matters. And present and confirm minutes from the previous meeting if there are previous minutes, kung anong napag-usapan ng nakaraan, ano yung mga updates about dito. Okay? What else? Manage and control the meeting, of course. Hindi yung dapat talagang may nag-interrupt, no? So, start a meeting by setting a cut-off time, of course, and then this helps to encourage people to be brief, no? So, call on individuals to introduce or lead a discussion of points on the agenda and gives everyone a chance to speak. Right? Pero yun nga, dapat may cut-off time para hindi lang isang tao ang magsasalita at nagtatanong if ever may tanong. Okay? And of course, ensure that no one dominates the discussion. Right? So at the end of this topic of discussion, summarize the outcome and get an arrangement on the decision. And last one is to ensure that the person given the responsibility to act on the decision knows what they have to do and when it should be done and reported on. Okay? Of course, set the date for the next meeting. Thank those present for attending. Thank everyone whose facilities have been used for the meeting. And the chairperson may call a short or unscheduled comfort break if several attendees require this. So these are the things na kailangan ding malaman ng isang chairperson, or if you in the future will become facilitators or chairperson in the future, ito yung mga dapat tinatandaan. And this is included, okay? Or this is very important when it comes to formal meetings. Alright? So that's it for today, and thank you for listening. Have a good day.